Hi guys, I'm Charlie, a Charlie book fanatic, and today I'm going to do my February wrap up. So I'm like really obsessed with statistics and things, so this month I thought, why am I not having a spreadsheet with all of the books I've read in the past January and February? So I thought I'm going to make a spreadsheet, and I did for January and February, but I didn't do it last month obviously. But it's going to be fun to look back at it at the end of the year, because I'm also keeping an overall statistic wrap up. So let's start with the statistics of the month of February. So first of all, I'm going to have to explain something about my legend. I separate series from standalones. Series are coloured in bright red, and standalones are coloured in green. Then I also differentiate between female authors and male authors. Female authors are light pink and male authors are light blue. Then we have I have these brackets with a number between them after the book. That is the number of the book in the series. Then I have brackets with LGBTQ plus books, which are obviously books with LGBTQ plus elements. And then I have brackets with POC after the book, or after the author actually. Then is a book with people of colour in it, or it is an author of colour. And I don't really change my reading to match these, or to better my statistics or anything, but I just really want to look at the things I actually read, like authors of colour, and I'm actually doing really well on that. I didn't expect that at all. So in February I read an amount of 11 books, which I'm really happy about. The past 2 months have been great for me. One book was a book by someone of colour. 9 books were books by female authors. 2 books were by male authors. I read 3 books set in other countries than North America or England. I read 2 books with LGBTQ plus elements. I read 2 books with people of colour in them. I read 0 historical fiction, 7 contemporaries, 4 fantasy books, 1 science fiction, 7 were young adult, 1 was new adult, 3 were adult. I read 0 manga and 0 poetry collections, so a total amount of 11 books. Then I also keep track of my star ratings. I had 0 1-star books, 1 2-star book, 4 3-star books, 6 4-star books, and 0 5-star books. I also keep track of this by putting everything in alphabetical order. So I'm putting the authors in alphabetical order, and not the way I've actually read the order in which I've actually read these books this past month. First book I'm not going to talk too long about, because it is a Dutch book and I have mostly English watchers, so they don't have any advantage with that. The first book I've read was an anthology of 16 short stories, and there's Everything is Possible in 16 Stories by Abdelkader Benali. Yeah, I rated it 3 stars. I thought some stories were good, and I wanted to read more by the authors, but most of them were really not my cup of tea. Also, Abdelkader Benali is a person of colour, and he was the only person of colour I've read this month. The second book I'm going to talk about was the second book in the Paradise series by Duggan, and it's called Paradise Road. I really can't go into much detail about this specific book, but I will tell you more about the series in general. But I gave this particular one 4 out of 5 stars. This book is a contemporary new adult, and it's about a girl called Lexi Atkinson who goes to Paradise. She has been homeschooled all her life, I believe, and she's going to do her senior year in Paradise, which is a city in Australia, I believe. So this is also a book set in another country than North America or England. And in Paradise, Lexi meets Luke Valentine, and she is immediately crushing on him because he is so hot. And I rated this is basically a summary of the first book, and I rated that one 4 stars also. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy CJ Duggan's writing, and I thought it was very good. If you're looking to start in new adult fiction, I can really recommend CJ Duggan as an author in general, because she writes really great books with amazing characters and good plots as well. The third book I'm going to talk about is The Forgetting Time, which is also a standalone, and it's by Sharon Guskin. This book included people of colour. I rated this one 4 stars. This is a book about reincarnation, and I believe in reincarnation, and I thought it was a really unique concept. I didn't know that from the summary actually that it was about reincarnation, but I did a review on it, which I will link down below if you want to know more about The Forgetting Time. But yeah, it was a really diverse read, and it was a totally unique concept to me. And I read the 3 remaining novellas from the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas that I haven't read yet, which are The Assassin and the Healer, which is the second novella. I don't know why I've read the first and the third novella, but not the second one. It's a mystery to me. I read the fourth one, The Assassin and the Underworld, and then the fifth one, The Assassin and the Empire. So these are 3 novellas from the Assassin's Blade, which are prequel novellas to the Throne of Glass series. So I've read all the novellas now, and I rated all of them 4 stars. I thought they were really good, and they gave Selena some really good depth. I've only read the first book, which is Throne of Glass, and I haven't read the rest of the series, but I'm really interested now because I really like Selena and I want to reread Throne of Glass soon, but I don't know how soon that will happen actually. But the novellas are really good. I really like Sam, who was Selena's love interest in the past, which is also talked about in the first book, Throne of Glass, I believe. But it was really good to meet Sam, and I really liked Sam with Selena. And it was so sad what happened to him. It really hurt me. I didn't cry about it, but it did hit me in the feels though. Then I read a book by the second male author of the month, which was The Rest of Us Just Live Here, which is a standalone book by Patrick Ness. And The Rest of Us Just Live Here has an LGBTQ plus element in it. And The Rest of Us Just Live Here is basically a book about all of the people that are not the chosen ones in the other books. In other young adult books, like the chosen one trope, you know what I mean? There's one person who is the chosen one who has to fulfill their destiny to save the world or something. But this book is about the people who are not that chosen one, but do see what happens to the chosen ones. I really like this book. It had these little summaries of what happened to the chosen one at the beginning of the chapter and then what happened to the other people. I really like this book. I thought it was going to be funny, and it was at one point. There's a summary in at the beginning of one of the chapters, at the beginning of the book, or like halfway through, I don't even remember anymore, almost halfway through. I'm going to read it to you because this was one point where I distinctly remember actually laughing. Chapter the 10th, in which Indie kids Joffrey and Earth disappear from their homes, their bodies found miles away. Satchel goes into hiding at an abandoned drive-in with fellow indie kids Finn, Dylan, Finn, Lincoln, Archie, Wisconsin, Finn, Aquamarine, and Finn, seeing a blue light in the night. Satchel meets the boy from the amulet, the handsomest one she's ever seen. He tells her this isn't a safe place for her or the others, and that they should run. Then he tells her she's beautiful in her own special way, and that's when she knows she can trust him. The indie kids go back to their homes. I recognize this. This is so typical for a YA novel. Like, somebody tells someone else they are so beautiful, they're instantly attracted to each other, and she's like, yeah, I can trust him. Nothing wrong with that. This book was way more serious than I expected it to be, actually. There was OCD in this, eating disorders were dealt with in this, and it was so much more than I expected it to be. I rated this one 4 stars as well. It was a young adult contemporary with fantasy elements. Then I reread Anna and the French Kiss, which was the first book in the Anna and the French Kiss series by Stephanie Perkins. I borrowed this one from the library, but I don't have it anymore because I read it at the beginning of the month, I believe. Yeah, I liked it less than I liked it the first time. I wanted to reread it to see if I still liked it as much as I did the last time. I think I gave it 3 stars or 4 stars the last time, and I now gave it 2 or 3. I think 3, but it could also be 2. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did last time. I didn't like ATN as much as I did the last time I read it. And it was quite annoying, actually, because I reread Fangirl in January, and I disliked Fangirl, but I didn't remember why, and I reread it, and I gave it a star lower. I gave it 2 stars, and it was absolutely terrible. The one in the French Kiss is about this girl named Anna who gets sent to Paris, to a boarding school, by her father, and she can't speak French, like, at all, and she has to survive her senior year, I believe, at this boarding school. She obviously immediately gets friends and starts crushing on this boy, ATN, which she realizes later on in the book. So yeah, it's typical YA romance story. You know how it goes. I read Chosen Soldiers, which was a standalone for now, but I really hope it's going to be a series because that ending, no. But this is a book by R.H. Scott, and I gave it 4 stars. It is a science fiction book, military science fiction to be precise. I requested this I requested this review copy because I actually never read a military fiction before, and especially not military science fiction. But I really wanted to read one, and I don't regret reading this one because I really enjoyed it. Obviously, it has its faults. Like, I'm going to do a review on this. because I did have a critical view on some of the things that were handled in this book, like possessiveness from a boy with a girl, and I can't really deal with that, and kind of mental abuse and like emotional abuse, and I obviously don't stand for that, so I had some things to say about that. But the book mostly was good, and I really enjoyed reading that one. The writing style was good, and the plot was quite fast-paced, and I like the main character Sloane. I constantly forget to give a summary of the book, and then I just start talking about the book, and you're like, what are you even talking about? This book is basically about a war going on, and it's about all of these students that are packed up in the academy to learn how to fight, to protect their families. So there are all of these kids who are sent to the academy from a young age, and they have to train with blades and swords, I believe, and guns to eventually fight the others, who are the others in the war that they have to fight to protect their families. And specifically, this book is about Sloane Radcliffe, who is the best female fighter in the academy, and she has this huge burden on her because everyone looks up to her, and she has to train these people that are under her with her boyfriend Jared, who is also the best male fighter in the academy, and they are supposed to be this power couple. But I didn't like Jared. Jared was an absolute asshole, and I couldn't be bothered with him. Like, he said some things to Sloane that I was like, what are you even talking about? Don't tell someone she is the reason you breathe. Like, what are you saying to her? Like, and she was okay with that, you know. I was like, really? You're like 18 or something, and you're like saying to each other that you can't live without each other, and you're destined to be together? Like, be realistic for a moment. Like, think about it. Be realistic. And the last book I'm going to talk about is Stars Melt to Milk by Brittany, Touris, and Stars Melt to Milk has people of color in it, and I gave this one 2 stars. And I also just realized I didn't put it in alphabetical order because this was the last book I read, and I read it yesterday when I'm filming this, so that's awkward. I need to keep my spreadsheet up to date, I guess. But yeah, I'm obviously going to do a review on Stars Melt to Milk. I gave it 2 stars, so you can guess I have some things to say about it. Like, there were some racist remarks against white people in this book. Like, what the fucking hell? But the author is white. Like, one of the main characters is called Janice, and I just forgot to give a summary of the book again. I will do it in a minute. But one of the main characters is called Janice, and she's a person of color, and she says some things that are really problematic to me, and I was like, what are you even saying? What does this have to do with anything that is going on right now? Yeah, a review will be up for that also in a bit. I don't know when that's going to happen, but a review will go up for that one as well. But Stars Melt to Milk is basically about this couple, Janice and Charlie. They're both 19 years old, and they've been together for the past 3 years. But they're constantly fighting already at the beginning of the book. Like, when someone makes a joke, they don't get it, and they're just getting mad at each other. Like, there's some really big frustrations there. And then Janice suddenly gets pregnant, which is also in the summary, it's not a spoiler. Janice gets pregnant, and Charlie can't deal with that, and he's freaking out, which isn't that weird. But Charlie was a shitty character. And he was so unambitious and so unmotivated and so just whiny. I couldn't deal with him for most of the book. He gets better towards the end of the book, but honestly, I couldn't deal with that. Like, I know I just talked about the summary and I just went off on a rant about Charlie, but honestly, Charlie is basically the boy in the relationship, by the way. It's a heterosexual relationship because I am called Charlie. I just realized that I just said that Charlie was whiny. I just didn't think about the fact that, yeah. Well, Charlie is the male in the relationship and Janice is the female in the relationship in this book. But Charlie, he couldn't deal with that, and it was like, oh my god. I was so frustrated with him. I was like, get yourself together, man. Just do what you need to do. Get yourself a job. Don't complain all the damn time. It's time to move on. So yeah, this is my reading wrap up for February. It started out really great and then it just went downhill from there, I guess. But anyway, I think I had a good reading month. No 1-star reads to me and no 5-star reads to me as either. So it's quite average. I think I have a 3.34 average rating. So that's quite low. I'm a critical reader, guys. I'm a critical reader. But I had quite a lot of 4-star books, but I still have quite a lot of critique on them as well. So yeah, I'm a critical reader. I really take these things seriously, and I have so much to say about the review copies I get. Like, if I really like them, if I give them 4 stars, I still have some negative points to them as well. Like, I will point them out in my review. So yeah, there will be a review up soon for Stars Melt to Milk. And Chosen Soldiers, there is a review up for The Forgetting Time, so if you want to check that out, I will leave it down below. Yeah, let me know if you've read any of these books. If you do want to read any of these books, what books did you read in February and what did you think about them? Let me know down below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye!